you have understood the basics of registration, etc. What is the registration limit, etc. and other things. Now you should also understand the meaning of supply. Why the meaning of supply? Because no longer we have manufacture, no longer we have sale, no longer we have the concept of entry, because all these taxable events have gone, as we just now talked about. And now the only taxable event remains supply. Since tax is to be levied on supply, we need to understand what is supply. First of all, supply includes goods and services. All the goods and services except those which are exempt or which are not under GST, GST will be levied on all goods and services. And if you want to get into more details, so whether there is a sale, there is a transfer, there is barter, there is exchange, there is license, there is rental, there is lease, all these things, and even disposal, even import of services, whatever the case be, it is covered under supply. So, in fact, most of the transactions are covered under supply. And another question will here arise, whether consideration is necessary for supply to be taxable under GST. The answer is no. In most of the cases, supply will be taxable irrespective of the fact whether there is a consideration or not. In very few cases, like for up to a specified amount, services provided on a personal basis, etc., they will be exempt. Otherwise, most of the services, irrespective of whether there is consideration or not, money or money's worth is being transferred to the other person or not, supply will be taxable. Now the question arises of time of supply of goods and services. Why this concept is important of time of supply of goods and services? Why do we need to know when the goods or services have been supplied? Because it determines the, yes, what does it determine? It determines when tax is to be paid, when GST is payable. It is because of that reason that we need to understand the time of supply of goods and services. So the two dates are there. One is the date of the invoice and the other is the date of receipt of payment by the supplier. And time of supply is earlier of the two dates, whether it is goods or services. So if we take an example of invoice being issued on 1st of July of 2017 and payment being received by the supplier on 28th of July. So the earlier date, as you can see, is 1st of July. So time of supply will be treated as 1st of July and tax will be payable on that basis. But sometimes, probably because of various negotiations, etc., let us say the goods are supplied but no invoice has been issued and no amount has been paid to the supplier. In that case, how long will we have to wait? How will GST department will wait for the taxes till such time that invoice is issued or payment is being received by the supplier? No. The last date by which invoice should be issued in this case will be taken as the date of time of supply. So some time limit will be specified within which invoice should be issued, and if it is not issued within that time period, then time of supply will be on a particular time after that time if the invoice is not issued. Place of supply of goods. Now why place of supply of goods is important? Yes, any idea? Place of supply of goods is important because we know that GST is a destination based tax, and wherever the supply is made, wherever the supply is consumed, there the tax will be taken by that state. So if from Delhi the goods are being sold to Maharashtra, so the tax will be taken by the Maharashtra government. The portion of IGST, obviously the central will go to the central government, but the portion of state taxes will go to Maharashtra and not to Delhi, because the place of supply, the place of consumption rather in this case is Maharashtra. Now there could be different scenarios for place of supply of goods. Let us see these. In the case when there is a movement of goods, yes, obviously in some goods there's no need for movement of goods because they are existing at the place of supply. So in that case, that could be different. But now we are talking about a case where there is a movement of goods. Let us say from one state to the other, or one go down to the other. In that case, the location of goods at the time at which the movement of goods terminates for delivery to the recipient is taken as the place of supply of goods. It could be within the state, it could be out of the state. So wherever the delivery of the goods takes place, and prior to that there was movement of goods, and the movement terminates at the place where the delivery to the recipient is made, so that is the place of supply. And if there is no movement of goods, let us say the goods are already lying in the showroom, or the products are already there in the shop, then in that case, location of such goods at the time of delivery to the recipient. When the delivery is being made to the consumer, then the place where the delivery is made, that is the place of supply. Now what about the case where goods are assembled or installed at the site? In many cases, you are aware that in the factory, etc., some knockdown kits are there, semi-knockdown kits are there, and or machinery parts are there, and at the site, at the factory premises, these parts are installed. So what will be the place of supply in these cases? The place of supply in these cases will be the place of such installation or assembly. Very simple, I think, and logical also. What about goods supplied on board a conveyance? Now, goods may be transported by, let us say, train. Goods may be transported by air cargo. So the location at which such goods are taken on board. So if we are supplying goods from Delhi, and the products are handed over to the air cargo at Delhi, then the place of supply will be Delhi. What about imports and exports? In the case of imports, the location of importer will be the place of supply of goods. Similarly, in the case of exports, the location outside India where the goods are being exported will be the place of supply. So in different scenarios, we have seen what will be the places of supply. Now, for goods it was different, for services it is different. In the case of services, we have a general rule or a thumb rule, which is based on the place of supply of recipient or supplier in some cases. So if the recipient is a registered supplier or a dealer, in that case, the location of the recipient will be the place of supply, irrespective of whether his address is available in the books of the supplier or not. So if in the case of registered dealers, whenever the supply is being made, then the location of the recipient is valid. It is relevant. The location of the supplier is not relevant in the case of supplies made by registered dealer to another registered dealer. Then in the case of unregistered recipients, there could be two scenarios. The address is there in the books of records of the supplier or not. So if the address is there in the books of accounts, or in the books accounts of the supplier, and the dealer is a unregistered person, in that case the location of the recipient will be the place of supply of services. So if I am supplying services from Delhi, I am a registered dealer, and I am supplying to an unregistered person who is located in the state of Haryana, and I have his address. In that case, the place of recipient, that is Haryana, will be the place of supply of services. But if I do not have address on records in the same case of this unregistered person who is there in the state of Haryana, in this case the location of the supplier will be the place of supply. And this was only the general rule. For specific services, there are specific rules. Like in the case of hotel, the place of the hotel where it is located, that will be the place of supply. So a hotel situated in the state of Maharashtra, that is, let's say, Mumbai. So the place of supply will be Mumbai. So if you are going from Delhi to Mumbai and you stay in a hotel, so the place of supply of service will be Maharashtra. Similarly, when a concert is held, let us say an Arijit Singh concert is held, the place, the grounds, or the park, or whatever place the concert is held, that will be taken as the place of supply of services. Important returns. Now, what are the important returns under GST? Quite a few. Let us see. First is the GST-R1, which is the return of outward supplies or sales, which is to be filed by a regular dealer on a monthly basis by 10th of the next month. Then we have GST-R2, which is the return of inward supplies or purchases, which is to be filed by a regular dealer on a monthly basis by 15th of the next month. GST-R3 is a consolidated return of inward and outward supplies, or in current scenario we can say purchases and sales. It is to be filed by a regular supplier on a monthly basis by 20th of the next month. What about compounding dealers? Compounding dealers have to file GST-R4, which is the return of purchases and sales. This is to be filed on a quarterly basis by 18th of the month next to the quarter. What about non-resident or foreign assessees? Yes, even they have to file monthly returns if they are registered for a longer period. So in their case, the return is GST-R5, which is the return of imports and sales. And if registration is for a shorter period than a month, then one time filing of return will be there within 7 days from the expiry of registration. And if it is a longer registration for 90 days or probably extension is there, then it is to be filed on a monthly basis by 20th of the next month. GST-R6 is the return of input services received and the distribution, and it is to be filed by the input service distributor on a monthly basis by 13th of the next month. GST-R7 is the return of TDS. Yes, even TDS is applicable in the case of GST, and the people to whom it will be applicable, or the supplies on which it will be applicable, will be known in due course. So such a person, the tax deductor, will have to file a monthly return by 10th of the next month. So monthly returns, quarterly returns in the case of a compounding dealer. Is there any other return also? Yes, there is an annual return also. So it will be a consolidated return for all the months and all the quarters for a compounding dealer, and for regular suppliers for all the consolidation of all the monthly returns of purchases and sales. It will have to be filed by 31st December of the next financial year. And GST-R9 is for the regular supplier, and GST-R9A is for compounding supplier. Besides these returns, there are also some intermediate returns like GST-R1A, 2A, etc., which are actually not returns, but from them these final returns, whether it is GST-R1 or GST-R2, are made. When you go into the details, then you will understand what is the flow for these returns.